Right, so I have no idea how this is going to work, but I just wanted to make a very, very quick ASMR video of Orinoco. I've got 3 hedgehogs, but Orinoco, although he's huffing now, is the calmest. He's the one that's like, will sit still, he's the most chilled. Pine Snaffle, my albino, just wants to explore everything, and Squedge, it's like a cinnamon colour, just wants to walk about and get into mischief, whereas Orinoco will actually sit still and let me cuddle him and stroke him. I do wish he'd stop huffing because he's making himself sound like a right meanie, but he's not, he's just adorable. I'll show you his little grumpy face, there's his little face, and he's just such a good boy, and he's such a calm boy. And I'm going to try, I might have to put the phone down and then pick him up. I'm going to try and pick him up and turn him over so you can see what he looks like on his back. And I won't be able to edit this out because I've got no idea how to edit. But there he is on his back. See, he is just adorable. Now, Orinoco, this is his little fat tummy. So Orinoco is an African pygmy hedgehog. So he's a domestic breed. He's not just a European hog. He is actually a special domestic breed. They've been bred in captivity, I believe, since about the mid-90s. And as you can hear, they are not necessarily they're not like a guinea pig where you can just pick it up and instantly it loves you. They take a lot more work and they need a lot of handling. They need a lot of attention to make them friendly. And even then, with a lot of handling, some of them aren't as friendly as others. I mean, I'm lucky with mine. Snaffy, when I first got him, would bite for no real reason. But to be honest, I think he'd been quite ill-treated as a baby. And I got him when he was 2. I think he'd been like not necessarily mistreated, but he'd been a bit neglected and stuff. And I don't think he'd had that degree of human interaction. But he's a lot better now. The only problem with Snaff is a few months ago, he had a prolapsed eye, which means like his eye exploded in the socket. And he's had to have that removed, so he's now a one-eyed hedgehog. But and this one, Orinoco, is actually Pine Snaffle's baby. So Orinoco was born in August last year. It seems strange saying last year now. In August 2019, so he's not even 1 yet. So what else? So with hedgehogs, I've told a lot of people I've got hedgehogs, and they've been like, oh, I want to get a hedgehog, I want to get a hedgehog. But there are lots of things you need to know with hogs, namely because they are native to Africa. They need heat. They're not the domestic breeds aren't allowed to hibernate because they don't. Although Orinoco is enormous, they don't take on enough fat reserves, so they can't hibernate. If they try and hibernate, they can potentially die if you don't catch it soon enough and bring them out of hibernation. Like by warming them up, they can die. So they need like a ceramic heat emitter system, much the same as you would have for a reptile. They need to live in a vivarium that's around 3 to 4 feet, 3 feet being the minimum. I put mine on a fleece substrate because I think it's just cleaner and easier and more hygienic, and you can have lots of pretty colours and stuff, and they like it, they burrow in it, and yeah, and that's just my personal issue. You can have them on things like finer card, I think it is, which is like a paper based, but they can't go on sawdust or shavings or anything like that. They have to, because of their can't even speak, respiratory systems, they have to go on a different, on like a fleece or something that isn't going to interfere with their little noses. They have to have a mix of good quality cat biscuits with high meat content. They shouldn't have fish. They can't just have like go cat or something. They have to have like specific foods that have got the nutrients that they need. But the big thing they do need, so he's off somewhere. They do need to come back. They do need to have live bugs. So this is morio worms, mealworms, waxworms, calci worms, locusts, roaches, crickets. They can have other things. They can have like earthworms, and I believe they can have wood lice, but they all have to be like shop bought. You can't just go and pick them out of the garden, because you don't know what pesticides and various things that you need to have them where they've been bought, bred especially for being feeders. They can have things like pinkies, which is day-old mice, and fuzzies, which I believe is, I don't know how old they are, 2 or 3 days old, I think. I can't remember. But I don't do that, because I don't really like the idea of that. So I don't do that. They can get most of these nutrients from other things such as chicken, and turkey, and other meats. They're not supposed to have pork, but they can have beef mince. They can have chicken. They shouldn't have anything that's got added salt and that kind of stuff. And they shouldn't have anything processed. So it's just plain. You're best to get it and cook it yourself. But yeah, they can have all that. They need to drink out of dishes, not bottles, like say a rabbit would, because their little tongues can get caught in the balls. What else can I say? They need to have a wheel, an exercise wheel, to run a large exercise wheel with no ridges, because these little guys can run to 5k a night. They're very, very active at night, very, very active. They're probably not good pet for children, because they do. I mean, one of mine comes alive about 4, one will come alive about 7. This little fella's really lazy. He will come alive about 1, probably about midnight. He doesn't get up nearly as early as my other ones. But yeah, they're not good. You're not gonna have. I mean, I've got him out now and he's quite active, but as a rule, they want to be asleep. Now. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and he would normally be asleep. He's getting really active, so this video might not last much longer. I might have to put him back and make him go back to bed. They need a covered hide, so they've got somewhere to hide up. You find they will line a dive. They love to burrow. You have to know signs if they're too hot or too cold. If they're too hot, they'll flake out and splat on the bottoms of their vivs, or the legs out. If they're too cold, they tend to get like wobbly on their feet. And you need to crank their vivs temperature up a little bit, because you need to have like a thermostat as well as your cheese, so you can kind of regulate the temperature. What else is it? The Orinoco. Show people how cute you are. Look at that. Look at that face. Yeah, so I couldn't imagine being without hedgehogs. To me, they're just wonderful little pets, and I love them so much. But at the same time, I don't think they're for everyone. I wouldn't recommend just thinking on a whim, oh, I want a hedgehog. And you're best to find a breeder. I've got a lovely breeder who lives I live in the Isle of Wight, and she lives over in Portsmouth, and she's absolutely amazing. And her hogs are all beautiful. They're all got pedigrees. They all know their lineage and all that kind of stuff. They all know they're not interbred. If you go to just backyard breeders, there's a lot of interbreeding, which you don't want. And there's a lot of, and they don't know where they've come from, and pet shops are not good either. They will tend to sell them with wrong advice, so you are best to go to a trusted breeder, who knows their stuff, rather than just going on Gumtree and thinking, oh, this is a hedgehog, I'll go and get it. You do have to be prepared to pay about £150 to £160 for one of these little chaps. They're not cheap. Life expectancy is anything from about 3 or 4 years to about 7 or 8 years. So they've not got massive life expectancies, but it's about the same as, say, a guinea pig. Look at his face. They've got such different personalities, and I've got 3, and they're all so different. I mean, I've got Pine Snaffle, who is just feisty. He is top hog. He owns my house. Squidgable, who is just such a mummy's boy. He is just, doesn't bite, doesn't huff, doesn't grump, doesn't do anything. I just pick him up and he just doesn't care. And then I've got this one who's kind of a cross between the two. He's got his feistiness, but he loves sitting in my hands. He loves fusses. He loves being with me. So yeah, again, this is just for ASMR fun purposes. This isn't necessarily your definitive guide to a hedgehog. If you'd like me to do something maybe without a hog running around and just talk about them a bit more in depth and a bit more in depth in my experience of having them and things like bathing, toenail clipping, all that kind of good stuff, then do feel free to let me know, and I will. But yeah, I just wanted to come on quickly do an ASMR video because I've not done one in so long, and they do really help me to sleep. So, and I had this little fella out, and I thought, what better than to do a video on hogs, because I could talk about them all day. In fact, any chance I go in the shop, any chance anything happens, I'm there talking about my hedgehogs. So yeah, if I just pop the camera down again, can't edit this out because I just don't know how to, but I'll pop the camera down again, flip him over so you can see his face and say bye to him. There he is. Say bye to everyone, Orinoco. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. He's just such a chunk. He's so much bigger than the other two as well, but he's just lovely. They're all just lovely. I wouldn't swap any one of them for anything in the world. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short video. First video for ages. Maybe I'll make another one again. More quicker than I made this one. But yeah, okay. Bye guys. Thanks for watching. Say bye, Orinoco. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Stop huffing. Say bye-bye.